What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the You Know Ball podcast. I am your host, Troll Bro Dude, and due to high demand and request, we are bending the knee to the hogs, and we will be doing the all Mickey Mouse March team. This is something we've never done before, I've realized. I think we might have done it in passing, just talked about some of the highlights of Mickey Mouse March, but since it has become, first off, Mickey Mouse March has kind of become a thing of its own. It is basically, other than slop, I think that, and we obviously, you know, slop has taken on a mind of its own in a different way. The term has been bastardized. But other than slop, I think Mickey Mouse March is the thing that we're most known for. Apparently, it's heavily used in the fantasy basketball community now.
Oh, really? Wow. Yeah. Okay, let's go.
So this has become a thing that people, I mean, everyone knows that March basketball is a little bit fake. I think the last few years specifically have proved that. Yeah. But I think that and also it's undeniable with the Bam Adebayo 83-point game that March basketball is just on another level, and the league basically trying to combat everything that they possibly can to make March basketball a little bit more watchable and entertaining for casual fans that are just tuning into the NBA is also another side of that. But the term Mickey Mouse March is apparently now used in fantasy basketball circles. So You Know Ball brand is going crazy.
Yeah. Day ones, if you were here, you can be really annoying when you hear some of your friends say that. You can say, the podcast I listened to actually came up with that. You can be like the Chapo guys in like 27, Chapo fans like me in 2017.
Right. When someone says really hot couch guy or
yeah.
It's like, or talks about the baseball crank.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. God, I haven't heard about him in a minute. I was gonna say that is like a very I shouldn't know as many op-ed writers, conservative op-ed writers as I do, but because I was a Chapo Trap House listener, I'll always know who Ross Douthat is.
Well, it's either one of two things: either those people became irrelevant and you never hear about them again, or they run the entire world.
Yeah.
It's one of the two. One of the two. They either are literally in charge of the government of the most powerful country in the world, or they're irrelevant. So you know,
I was going to say you've got Barry Weiss, who basically runs all media, all forever. It is our our czar of content, or Kevin Williamson, who Matt called Cold Stone Steve Austin and banished him to another realm. That's probably the funniest drop.
Unfortunately, not all of them went down that route that you don't hear about at all anymore. But to get right into the Mickey Mouse, we have to revisit, as part of the Mickey Mouse March tradition here, we have to revisit our draft that we did a month ago, almost exactly to the day. We did cheat a little bit because we did the draft on April 2nd. So there were some March performances that slipped in on March 1st.
March 2nd, you mean?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. March 2nd. That was an April Fool's joke. Thanks. I'm so glad you caught it. I'm so glad that you caught that April Fool's joke. But the thing that I was trying to say is that we did cheat a little bit because we had a few performances that slipped in there for March 1st when we did the Mickey Mouse March draft. But hats off to you, possibly the biggest bust imaginable with the first pick. I mean, this is the Michael McCandy of Mickey Mouse March.
I was gonna say this is the I am the Billy King of putting together a Mickey Mouse March team.
This is crazy, dude.
You took bad Cam up and
Thomas.
Down. Yeah.
When I saw the first pick is generational.
When I saw that we were gonna be like recapping this, my first thought was like, okay, so Tro must have nailed the picks because I'm seeing him bringing in plus minus and like some of the other things that basketball writers do when they want to prove how right they are. But then I saw my picks. I was like, oh no, I just ate shit.
Yeah, I mean, we both didn't do great. Just a little spoiler alert here as we go through
You did significantly better than I.
Well, we'll get there because I don't think I did particularly well either in this, to be honest with you. Usually, like, there are a few guys that we'll talk about in March that really stand out above the rest in terms of performing at a level that they normally don't. So this is basically just playing way above your head. And Cam Thomas played so badly. I remember saying on the Mickey Mouse March draft when we did it, if he doesn't play well with the Bucks, this might be kind of it for his NBA career. And I'm to the point where I would be shocked if he's on an NBA roster next year, unless there's one last team that wants to give him a shot. But I think this was kind of his last shot. He didn't get a rookie extension. He seemingly pissed off every coach and front office that he played for in his short time with the Nets and the Bucks. And you'll think he get one more run?
He'll be back in 20 years. He's going to be coaching the Brooklyn Nets because he'll have installed, based off his illustrious career, the Communist People's Party of China will install him as our new kind of like
czar of Hooperism.
Yeah, like they would have done that for like Stephon Marbury would have been that guy. Sure. He's going to be the new Stephon Marbury, basically.
Right. Stephon Marbury will be just one notch above him. It will be Stephon Marbury, Cam Thomas, and then just in third in command will be Darius Acuff.
Yeah.
It won't be a Pokemon evolution because Cam Thomas was never as good as Stephon Marbury, and Darius Acuff is a better prospect than Cam Thomas. There will be some sort of mutation in the middle that just completely removed playmaking from all of their games. Like tough shot making there, getting buckets there. Playmaking was just lost in that generation when you're thinking about the 3 generations of Hooper between those 3 guys. But yeah, Cam Thomas gets waived. Shout out to Raptors Report, who literally commented on that video and said, I think Cam Thomas is going to be a huge Mickey Mouse March bust. And it turns out it couldn't have gone worse. He got waived and no team has shown any interest in picking him up. So yeah, I think it's just kind of Jover for him. And this was his time to show out.
The 1,000 years of Will's success. Will is dancing. Will is styling on us, or on me specifically. I never really believed in Cam Thomas. I was more just trolling Will, but he's he got it's over for him. It is kind of a bummer because I do think he is like kind of a talented guy, and I know I'm going to sound like Kevin O'Connor with like if Russell Westbrook just set screens, but like if he just like played more normal, like he probably could have a spot in the league. Like
I don't know. I'm kind of to the point where I'm like I think it was just kind of like I'm going to go Russillo and say he was just the way that he was wired was like all he cared about was getting buckets and
also true.
And like he doesn't impact the game in any other capacity. He doesn't get steals. He doesn't get blocks. He doesn't get deflections. He doesn't try on defense. He doesn't pass. He doesn't rebound. Like he just doesn't have elements of basketball other than scoring. And we always joked, the longest debate thread in NBA history is Cam Thomas good or not? I think it has finally been solved because we would always say, man, this guy is just not good. He doesn't impact winning. He doesn't do anything. But then he would randomly pop off for 45 points. And you're like, maybe it's over. He will be, it will be one of those things where 10 years from now, it's going to be like some rookie 10 years from now is going to have scored Giannis's son. It's going to have scored, I don't know, 30 points in back-to-back games as a rookie in the NBA in 10 to 15 years from now. And he will be in the record books because there was that stretch that he had where he had back-to-back 40-point games. I don't know if it was his rookie season or it was his second season. I think it was his sophomore year. And he had 40 points in back-to-back games, and he was the youngest player to ever do that. He was under 21. And so he will be one of those guys that like it will be all Hall of Famers. It will be like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Kobe Bryant, whatever. Like, and then also Cam Thomas will be popping up. That's like he'll be like a bar trivia guy in the future.
Yeah,
is the
really. Name some guys. First team, all name some guys.
Like I really do think that is his destiny, is just to be someone that goes now abroad and plays somewhere, and that's kind of what we think of him for the rest of time. He'll just be a trivia question.
Do you think he'll be more or less famous than Kevin Pittsnuggle?
Way more, because he'll have a Cam Reddish. Even like I'm trying to think of like someone Harry Giles, he unironically will have the thing when Bill always says this guy was a problem. That will be Cam Thomas in 10 years, where it's like This guy was the sixth man on a Nets team that won like 30 something games or whatever, 40 games. Yeah. And it will be like the league was so talented, and it will just be Cam Thomas making the toughest shots you've ever seen against like elite defenders.
I do think Jordan Crawford is better than him. And I guess Jordan Crawford was in the league longer than him, so makes sense.
Cam Thomas was 5 years, I think.
And I think Jordan Crawford was 6. I think he hung in there for 6. So
he was living off that LeBron poster for years and years. Made millions off of that LeBron poster.
Yeah, honestly, he was kind of the prototype for what drives Will insane now. Where just when you trade with the Celtics and a guy is bad immediately, that was Jordan Crawford. He won Eastern Conference Player of the Week in 2013. People forget.
That's crazy. I honestly didn't even remember that at all. But yeah,
maybe it was 2012. It actually would have been 2012. I think it was 2013 though. It was 2013. Never mind.
I can't remember at all. Yeah. But so the next player up is Jonathan Kuminga, who immediately got injured after we did this. Then he came back. He only played 20 minutes a game after that. He had 35, 33, 61 splits. If you don't count the March 1st game, which I drafted him after the March 1st game. This is actually insane. During the month of March, the Hawks were 13-2. Mm-hmm. During Jonathan Kuminga's minutes, they were only a plus 11 the whole month. They won 13 of 15 games, and they only won his minutes by 11. So he's back to his old ways. Like, I see it on the timeline now with Hawks fans, Warriors fans victory lapping. Like, it was very much a blip on the radar, those 3 games where he played really well to start off his Hawks tenure. And now he's another guy that, like, he will get more chances than Cam Thomas, but I think there's a high likelihood that he will be hitting free agency this upcoming summer. The next one, your next pick. So that was my pick, Jonathan Kuminga. Your pick, Jordan Poole, benched, only played 4 games in all of March.
And what happened? They got eliminated. They got eliminated from playoff contention
for not playing Jordan Poole.
Terrible coaching by Borrego.
Famously, earlier in the year, he obviously also didn't play when they were losing games. He played 64 total minutes the whole month. He averaged 5 points, 3 assists, and 1 rebound on 24, 15, 80 splits. He shot 24% from the field in the whole month.
You just got to keep shooting. You got to let him shoot through it, man. Like, you got to let him shoot through it. They didn't let him shoot through it, So that was the issue. Yeah.
We saw it in person. You just got to let him shoot through
That's a coaching issue. I know I'm not taking the L there. That's a coaching issue.
So my next pick was Leonard Miller, another guy who had just popped off in the game prior to when we did the Mickey Mouse March draft. He averaged 12.6 rebounds and 1 assists. He also had a block per game on 60 true shooting. But the Bulls, after that first game where he was a plus 38 in that game, he was only a plus 4 since March 3rd, which for the Bulls, to be fair, is an accomplishment. I know that they are the Mickey Mouse March team, but for the Bulls to be a plus in your minutes at all for a whole month is good. But he was plus 42 for the whole month, but he got that plus 38 in the first game on March 1st. So that's another one that isn't great for me. This was your best one by far, which is Guy Santos. Guy Santos averaged 16 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists in 15 games on 47, 31, 76 splits. The Warriors were mid this month, but he was only a minus 23 in his minutes. So I feel like that is good considering the amount of minutes and scoring load and creation that they asked for him for this month. That's a good sign, I think, moving forward. He's still relatively young, and he was someone that you pinned as a March candidate, and he played way above his career numbers and got an actual opportunity this time around.
That's my guy. Guy Santos was never let me down, ever. Do we think the Warriors are going to do this thing one more time?
What do you mean?
Next year? Like, do you think next? Because this season's over, right? Like, we don't think that there's any chance of them doing anything. What do we think that they try this one more time? Like, and
They
just
kinda
hope
have
they don't
to.
get injured. Yeah,
I mean, maybe they trade Draymond, but like
that's more. Yeah,
Jimmy's on a
that's
torn ACL.
yeah.
He has 1 year left on his deal. I think Steph has 2 years left on his deal. I just think they ride it out. I think they hope for lottery though. They're a team that's just like they want to have happen what the Mavs and Spurs got last year, where it's just like they're the team that jumps into the top 4, and then, as we know, it worked out really well for them before when they had top 10 picks. But now they'll have a chance to potentially shift their window, and if they don't, they're another team that's just like interesting to me. Like when we get around to draft season, if they end up just staying in their range, let's say they have the 12th pick in the draft or something, they're a really interesting team in terms of like, what do they do pick wise?
Yeah.
Because most of the guys in their range are going to be guards. And if you take a point guard, that's kind of signaling like, yeah, we're winding down.
I mean, they should just take best player available. And if it's
I totally agree.
Yeah,
I don't disagree. But like, if they take LeBaron Phylon at 12 or something, then you're like, all right, well, this is they should just acquire good players and not worry about fit with whatever. They're not winning a championship. They're probably not even ever winning another playoff series. So they should go down that road, but it would signal for the first time that they're willing to kind of pivot out of this old era, other than, you know, just letting guys walk via free agency and stuff. Cause they've tried to build as much as they possibly can around Steph still. And it's just, it hasn't really worked out because they're old and injured. So, although your boy Porzingis has played well recently, I didn't include him in here, but played 4 straight games. When he plays, he's good. He just doesn't play.
That's awesome. I hope he gets into the playoffs and just immediately lays us in. It is fun watching like Warriors fans do exactly like I've had so many Warriors fans like at me being like, you were right. Like once you get him on your team, you're just so fucking over him, dude. Like it's unreal. Like he's such a
I thought he's well, although he hasn't played, so I guess that's why they're mad at him. Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say the last 4 games he's played really well, but they've also played some dog shit competition.
Yeah, this was mostly like 2 weeks ago.
Early, yeah. I was gonna say, yeah. So Jarris Walker was next. He had 14 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists in 14 games. He had 64 true shooting for the month of March. This is incredible. And I would say, well, it's the Pacers, they're tanking. The Pacers have been kind of competitive. Like they just beat the Heat the other night. They don't just like completely fold. There are games where they don't show up, but they try to compete.
Ethically, like if I were Adam Silver and I were rigging the lottery, I would give the Pacers the number 1 overall pick because they're like exactly what he wants, right? Like
they didn't have a choice this year. They were just always going to be bad because Halliburton got hurt.
But I'm saying like they didn't like let go of the rope, right? Yeah. Like you know what I'm saying? Because they've done that all year. They almost beat the Thunder like the 3rd week of the season, if I remember correctly, right? Like or
they did beat the Thunder this year. They beat the Thunder this year.
Okay,
I think they beat them twice, or they hung with them twice, and they beat them once. So yeah.
You watch the Thunder games, and there's pride there. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like a really. Did you see the argument I got in with a guy online, by the way, who had like a impact metric? He was trying to argue with me that the West was more injured than the East. And the numbers said that the Thunder were exactly as injured as the Pacers. And like he, you know, obviously he's trying to say like in terms of like games missed, starters, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? But like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to believe your number when like one team was like a game away from beating the other team in the finals, and then they're just like 17 and 60 something.
Yeah, the numbers are clearly selling short how important Tyrese Halliburton is to the success of the Pacers. I mean, it's we've seen it now. So Jarris Walker had those pretty good numbers, right? Like 14, 5, and 3, 64 true shooting. They still lost his minutes this month by 110.
That's crazy. Wait, is he come off the bench?
No, I think he was starting.
He was starting. Okay. That's a little better though. Like, I think if you're starting, it's a little bit better.
That's pretty terrible, dude.
That's awful. But
I mean, he is put once again. He seemingly just does not impact the game at all, despite putting up numbers. And it's kind of been his whole thing. so far throughout his career. And he's in year 3 and he got a real chance this year, and it's not looking great for him. So Emmanuel Quickly was your next pick. Not a good one. Dude, we tagged this fucking exercise.
Fucking shit. Yeah, I was gonna say it wasn't good.
Emmanuel Quickly averaged 13.7 points, 6 assists, and 3 rebounds on 39, 33, 91 splits, 52 true shooting. I think they did win his minutes, but it wasn't by a lot. The Raptors are another team that just they're a much more minuscule version of the Knicks, where every time you start to be like, maybe they're kind of figuring things out, they just kind of lay an egg like they did to the Pistons last night without Cade. And the Knicks are a much larger version of that, where like the Knicks will win like 6 games in a row, but then just not show up at all for the 7th game like they just did. So the next pick I had was Gigi Jackson. He averaged 16 points, 5 rebounds, 1.5 assists on 46, 26, 77 splits, 54 true shooting. Gigi Jackson is just not good. I've kind of always said this, but he felt like a Mickey Mouse March guy to me, false hope kind of thing. I don't even really see that at all in any of his numbers. Najee Marshall was your next pick, your last pick. He averaged 16 points, 4 assists, 3.9 rebounds, 46, 26, 78 splits, 54 true shooting, negative 85 on the month, and was worse than his numbers all season across the board.
So what do we learn here? Najee Marshall is a good player. He's actually a good player because he was bad.
Yeah, Najee Marshall was below all of his stats for the season, but the Mavs really have nothing to play for right now. Cooper Flagg is seasonally depressed. he said on Pat McAfee today that it's like the worst basketball year of his life because he's just not used to losing. So let's hope that the Mavericks can turn it around so that we don't get Sam's nauseating propaganda about Cooper Flagg joining the Celtics in 6 years when he's Andrew Wiggins.
That's Celtics Matt's thing. I'm not waiting around for 7 years. He needs his own team too.
Yeah, we'll see with Cooper Flagg. They have not set him up for success so far, but very, very early. Okay, so the last pick in this was probably my best pick of the whole draft. Jaime Jaquez Jr. averaged 14 points, although he's been good all year, but 14 points, 5.5 assists, 4.1 rebounds in 13 games, 47, 40, 82 splits, but only 57 true shooting because he just does not shoot threes enough. And he was a plus 24 on the month. So yeah, we kind of just completely ate shit on this whole exercise, to be honest with you. I think even calling our best picks good picks is a stretch.
Yeah, it's a stretch, yeah.
So now we'll get into what we came here today for, which is the all Mickey Mouse March teams. We will pick the best players that played way above their head during the month of March. We'll have a first team and a second team. We'll debate some players, whether they should be included or not. My first thing I just wanted to touch on here, Bam Adebayo famously had an 83-point game, the second highest scoring game, the highest modern scoring game in NBA history. And he was 10th overall in points per game during the month of March.
That's fucking should be impossible, first of all.
How is that?
Like, how do you do that?
He scored enough points for 4 games in one game and then was 10th in points per game in the month of March.
Dog, is he going to finish with like 18 points per game like on the season? Like he's not even going to be a 20 points per game scorer with an 80-point.
So
86-point game.
Right now he's averaging exactly 20, basically 20.1 points per game. It's possible that he finishes below 20 points per game and averages like 19.8 points per game.
So bad. I want
in
that
a season
so
where he scored
bad.
83 points in a single game.
I want that so fucking bad, dude.
I feel like just because of the 83-point performance, he has to be like included in the first team with a bullet because he played so far above his head that the rest of the month, and the guys that were ahead of him are the guys that you expect. It was like Luka, Shea, Embiid only played a few games, but he was on there. Jamal Murray, they were guys that score a lot of points. It's not like there was like someone that was like a complete outlier at the top ahead of Bam Adebayo, but he scored 83 points in a single game and did not end up averaging in the top 5 in points per game this month, which feels like it should not be something that you could possibly do. So I feel like Bam needs to be included on the all Mickey Mouse March team just because he now has the definitive Mickey Mouse March performance. Like, we will
100%.
never see anything like this again.
The captain, dude. He's the captain.
He's the captain.
Like, this is his, like, we said this when it happened. Like, yeah, this is like a new standard for Mickey Mouse March. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, like, we always say Josh Giddey is kind of the face of Mickey Mouse March because he like very literally does like do this every year. Jalen Green has had a really special, wine. Bill Simmons, if he was doing the Mickey Mouse March wine cellar, the Jalen Green 2023 season would definitely be in there. But he, I mean, this is the new standard performance. I mean, this is the greatest Mickey Mouse March performance of all time.
Since he has scored 83 points, here are his point totals: 21 points, 20 points, 28, 32, 18, 17, 14, 15, 23. So he has scored over 30 points one time since he scored 83. He ended up averaging, I believe it was around, hold on, I'm going to get the exact total here because I just need to know his final stats for the month of March. And like you said, it's kind of like you said, it was like Josh Giddey, Jalen Green, those guys. This is almost like when we used to be like, is Reggie Miller the greatest shooter of all time? Is Ray Allen the greatest shooter of all time? And then Steph Curry came around and we were like, Steph Curry is the greatest. Yeah, he's the greatest shooter of all time. Very quickly, we realized that he is the one that will pass all of them. And it's not there is no competition because he just leaped them so much.
It's a copycat March league, man. Like, this is going to change how people are approaching March in and out. Can I make my first team suggestion for Mickey Mouse March? Or if we're done talking about Bam?
Just real quick, I want to read off Bam's stats.
Okay, go
so
ahead.
Bam in March, dude, he scored 83 points in a game and he averaged 25.9 points for the month.
Oh my God.
10.6 rebounds, 3.6 assists. Really, only the scoring totals are higher for him. I mean, I don't even know how this is possible, bro. In the months where he scored 83 points in a game, he shot 40.8% from the field.
He's a center, dude. He's a fucking center.
He had a 53.7 true shooting.
That's awesome, man. What a beast. That's so sick.
He really put all of his energy into that one fucking performance. Holy shit. Dude, he scored 31 points in a quarter in that game.
That's awesome.
In the first quarter of that game. And he's only done 32 points, I think, more than that for a whole game one time. And that was in the coming weeks after that. So yeah, we're done with Bam. But I would like to hear who you would like to elect because he's number one with a bullet for me on the first team Mickey Mouse March.
Okay, well, I want to I just want to point out this is a guy who has increased his point average, went up by almost 21 points a game. His rebounding numbers went up by almost 9 points a game in March. His assist numbers went up by upwards of 4 points a game. And his PER jumped a whopping 19.1 in the month of March. So Jason Tatum is the definitive Mickey Mouse.
I was like, wait, who missed that much time? Is he finally over 40% from the field?
No, he is 39.9.
He'll get there.
He'll get there though. He'll get there. He already almost has a win share though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because his defensive numbers have been crazy. But yeah, he has 39, 32, 83 splits right now. 21, 9, and 4. And then they're crushing in his minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, he's been playing like really well. I feel like, but like, it is just funny that he's like doing this like in March. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like a very funny like Mickey Mouse March because it's like a guy coming back, and like there's a lot of like, you know, oh, Jason Tatum like, you know, really took a risk. You know, he really like put himself out there to like come back and like very like publicly do this and everything like that. And that's all like true, you know. Obviously the Boston media mafia is gonna skew things, you know, one way or the other for Jason Tatum. But it just is like very funny that like he is by definition like one of the biggest topics in March, you know what I'm saying? And it's
Sure.
like it is, and you know, like it comes amid the background of like him coming back to a team that, you know, for the regular season really didn't miss him, you know. They would have missed him if they got to the playoffs. The thing with Tatum, you know, like objectively, they didn't need him to put together a successful regular season. Like that, just they didn't, you know, like that's not indicative of Tatum. It's not indicative of like they're going to need him for they are going to need him for the playoffs. Objectively, it has nothing to do with that. But just the fact of the matter is that they did not need Jason Tatum this season to put together a successful regular season. So it is kind of funny to like basically use Mickey Mouse March as like a Jason Tatum like rehab fucking like G League fucking assignment.
I think we need to look in the mirror and ask ourselves, are Achilles injuries now Mickey Mouse?
It might be.
It is Mickey like, Mouse injury, Mickey Mouse ligament. Or
it is
not ligament, you know what I mean?
It really is like very fucking funny that like Jason Tatum kind of is like the Schrodinger's cat of like being cool. You know what I'm saying? Where he's like simultaneously like disrespected and overly respected. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's never been a player quite like him just in terms of like
no, there is one. He's not on the same level, but I'll get to it.
Are you gonna say Jalen Hurts? Like
no. I was gonna say
like
no. I was gonna use Wolf's comparison, which is what Wolf has said is the worst thing you can be is the 5th best player in the NBA, or like the 6th best player in the NBA. And I was gonna use this as a transition to talk about the next person I wanted to talk about, which is Luka Doncic.
Let's go, dude. Yes.
Who by all definitions is a really good player and incredibly talented.
This is a great pick, by the way.
And is also averaging 37.5 points, 8 rebounds, 7.4 assists. They were 106 plus 162 in his minutes, and he leads the league in steals. The whole season, he leads the league in steals.
Is that for the whole season?
So the month of March, he averaged 2.3 steals. On the season, he is averaging. Hold on, I might have had that wrong. Okay, no, he does not lead the whole league in steals.
I was like, "There's no way that's true."
Right, he's 6 overall.
That's still insane, though.
Like it goes: Asar is 1, Maxey is 2, Case and Wallace 3, Kawhi Leonard 4, Dyson Daniels 5, Luka Doncic 6, and 2.3 per game in the month of March. And they kind of destroyed teams this month. Like Luka seemingly, it's kind of similar to the Tatum thing, where instead of overcoming, you know, an Achilles injury, Luka Doncic just overcame having a very similar lifestyle to me.
Overcame being an Overwatch grandmaster who's losing custody of his child.
He has overcome the hookah addiction. He has overcome possibly the sweet tea addiction. Dude, he's lost like 40 pounds since the Mavericks traded him. And it's seemingly kind of in a Shaq style of like he just does it during the season. That's where awesome. He's just because last year we had the propaganda of like Luka lost all this weight, he's in great shape. But then when you watch the games, when he came back around during the season, you're like, that's not really the case. Yeah. And then he played his way into shape and he's kind of hitting his stride at the right time in March. But at the same time, these numbers are absurd. I mean, he just had one of the best months in the history of the NBA after being good this season, but underwhelming for what we expect from Luka Doncic. And now I feel like this is the first time since before the finals run, I would say, that it feels like Luka has a case for being one of the for best players in the NBA and has this crazy stretch and run just before the playoffs. And as we've seen in the past, he can have runs in the playoffs where he's, absolutely dynamite.
You know who I was just thinking about this. You know who he is a fascinating analog to? Is Jimmy Butler. Because they're like exact opposites in so many ways, but they're also exactly the same in so many ways too. Like
I used to call the Mavericks the Heat of the West. Do you remember this?
Yes.
When they went, I was like, I don't care what their seed is. They can beat anyone in the playoffs because they have Luka. And that was the same thing with the Heat and Jimmy. It was like, yeah, they might be the 6th seed, but like, do you really want to play them when he just will have a random game where he can't fucking miss?
They really are the same. They don't give a shit about the regular season and kind of like tap in, tap out. Like they're complete opposites in how they're viewed by casuals. Sure. Jimmy is this incredible warrior who loves winning, and like you couldn't drag that guy off the court if you wanted to. And Luka's a fat fucking loser who sucks shit.
And also, by the way, Jimmy has the background of, he was homeless at one point. He played at community college and junior college and grinded his way to Marquette and then was a late first round pick. And Luka's like, he was a spoiled brat who was a child prodigy who they raised to be the next great basketball player from the time he was playing professional basketball for Real Madrid when he was a teenager. He was the 3rd pick in the draft. And honestly, in probably 2026, he would be the definitive 1st pick in the draft. And it feels like in that way, they're very narratively different too. Luka instantly comes into the NBA as one of the best players in the NBA, one of the most celebrated players in the NBA. Jimmy has to work his ass off to get to that level of respect and then peaks in his 30s. I think that's the real difference between the two and why people view them so differently is that Luka was good right away and people feel like he squandered it. In his 20s, in his like prime athletic years, whereas Jimmy is the opposite, where Jimmy's like grinded his way to be as good as he was, had the knee injuries, had the Tibbs minutes, and then he got the pass by the time he was in his 30s, not only because he had these playoff performances, but also because there was a reason why he was missing a lot of time. He had the Tom Thibodeau minutes tax. He had multiple knee injuries. He wasn't quite as athletic he was when he was younger, and he was kind of coasting on feel and effort in his 30s, as opposed to, when he was a little bit more athletic when he was younger. So I feel like that's the main reason why people think of them differently. But the other part of it is that the other point that you bring up, which is a great point, is that it's just they're both these kind of unbeatable monsters when they're locked in the playoffs. But the narratives are very different. I mean, he literally just had, if this carries over into the playoffs, they're going to be a very scary out. If this is truly a Mickey Mouse March, no one really cares, and Luka is exploiting that, then I think that there will be a lot of those narratives rebubbling back to the surface in a month from now.
Would you rather play the Rockets or the Lakers in the first round?
The Rockets.
Okay.
I know that the Rockets. I know that the Rockets. It's kind of hard because it's like I just think there are a few teams where it's just like it's just not their year. It's a gut feeling for me more than anything else. Yeah. And I know the Rockets have been playing a little bit better recently. They're still on a night-to-night basis. They feel very beatable. But and the Lakers are playing the best basketball that they've played in forever. So it's hard to really not overreact to that. But the reason why I would rather play the Rockets than the Lakers is that there is a world where it's just like between the 3 offensively talented guys that the Lakers have and JJ Redick kind of figuring out a way to cover up some of their defensive weaknesses, that they could catch the right matchups and make a run to the conference finals. Like I think
that's possible.
I think it's possible.
I don't think it's likely, but like I
don't think it's impossible. And with the Rockets, I just feel like their offense is going to be completely in the mud. Yeah. I feel like defensively they might be able to scrounge together some impressive performances and lock down teams on any given night, but there are holes in that defense that will over the course of a 7-game series, I think, come to the surface. And honestly, if you're playing against one of those two teams, then you probably, if you're in the Western Conference, you probably feel pretty good about your team. Like the Spurs, the Nuggets, the Thunder, whoever. Like, and I'm taking all those teams over the Rockets. I think the Lakers have a puncher's chance against the Spurs and the Nuggets.
So kind of what I'm hearing in that is that you think that Kevin Durant as a like playoff carrying guy is kind of done. Like he's more just like
I think that's kind of been the case since he was with the Nets, really since 2021, to be honest with you. I don't think that Kevin Durant has carried a team in the playoffs in 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think those Suns teams were weirdly constructed and like kind of fucked up. I mean, this is also a weirdly constructed kind of fucked up team, but like at least this team is young. You know what I'm saying? Like the Suns were kind of like I don't know, a little bit of a thing. I mean, I think
again, the Rockets haven't put together a stretch like the Lakers have over the last month and a half.
That's true.
That's the difference to me.
Yeah,
and like the difference is that like the Lakers are the Lakers, and the thing about Luka when he's playing at his best, and I think this is why I don't believe this is a true Mickey Mouse March. Like I don't think that this is indicative.
He has done this before. You know,
he's done this before.
Carry over.
And Luka is one of the few players that when he is playing at the level that he's playing at right now is kind of matchup proof. Whereas Kevin Durant is a really great player, but there are weaknesses in his game that you can exploit when he isn't playing at his best. He turns the ball over a ton in clutch moments. Like he is not someone that can beat every coverage in the way that Luka Doncic can. Like it's why when they made that run to the finals, it was so impressive because like he was taking down legit playoff defenses to get there. You know, he was taking down the Thunder, the Wolves. It was really until he ran into that Celtics team that he didn't have the answer for at the top level of the finals. And really it was his defense that got exposed in that series. And I don't foresee a ton of teams being able to exploit his defense. And also he's just been kind of trying much harder on that end, and it's made a huge difference. Yeah, honestly, I considered including Marcus Smart in the Mickey Mouse March thing because he was top 10 in plus minus this month, and all of his stats were not good. Like it was one of those things where I was looking at the stats and I was like, how is he shooting like 37% from the field in this month, but he's like a plus 100 or whatever. And it is, and honestly, someone posted the other day, I think it was like Basketball U or whatever that page is called, posted, and he's in the top 5 for on-offs for half-court defense. So when Smart's on the court, their defense in the half court is like 6 or 7 points per 100 possessions better than when he's on the bench. And I do think a little bit of that speaks to how little defenders they have outside of Marcus Smart.
Sure.
But he is performing at a level, and as we know, he can get in big moments and shoot you out of a game or a series. But he's one of the few actual role players on that team that can fill in the gaps between their star players. And like the Lakers, I don't believe in the Lakers, but I do think that they can scrounge together enough around the guys they have now to win a playoff series this year. Like, and I think that that's ultimately due to really, honestly, I think I would give most of the credit to the way that Luka has played over the last 2 months.
I'd give quite a bit to JJ Redick, who now has put together back-to-back pretty shitty like, I mean, I know that like Luka Doncic and LeBron James and Austin Reeves are like on your team, but like these rosters don't make fucking sense at all.
No, I mean, they basically admitted that they were punting on this season. Like, the only reason that they're somewhat normal is that they got 2 rotation players on buyouts, which never happens.
Yeah. Well, what was it? Luke and who's the other one?
No, I was going to say Smart and Ayton.
Oh, you mean
from last year.
Last year. Yeah.
Kennard's been good for them. I don't project him to be anything more than like a spot minute guy. He's proven to be pretty terrible in the playoffs in the past, but they've gotten a lot out of him considering how limited he is as a player. So, but
I agree. We should put Marcus Smart in real All defense, NBA all defense conversations now.
Do we put Luka on the team? Do you think Luka makes the team? I mean, this is an absurd level he's playing at. I will take the L if he performs this well in the playoffs. He's averaging almost 40 points a game, and they're destroying teams in his minutes.
Yeah, I mean, like, is it still a Mickey Mouse March run if he gets to the playoffs and he scores like 31 a game? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Impact, because the difference is that Luka will always put up 30 points a game, no matter what. If they're losing, if they're winning, like, he just takes enough shots and he runs, he has the ball enough that he will get his numbers. Yeah. The difference is that they're actually winning his minutes this time around. And like by a decent margin. Like they kicked the shit out of the Cavs last night. And I know the Cavs have been a little bit funky, but like he has put up real like impactful performances. And like I said, I genuinely think that like he was not even Luka level. Like I don't think he was peak Luka Doncic during their finals run. I think he was very good. I think that his playmaking and ability to kind of beat any sort of defensive coverage in the playoffs was incredibly invaluable to that team. But I don't think that was the best I've ever seen from Luka Doncic. I felt like in 2023, there were times in 2023 he was just as good as that, and if not better. And then before all of these like injuries and the weight stuff, like he had some incredible runs and stretches that were similar to what he's doing right now. So I would say we'll leave that one up for debate, and we'll move on to someone else, but we'll talk about so how about Darius Garland? Traded at the deadline for James Harden, which by the way, I went back and I rewatched us talk about that.
Yeah.
Our opinion was basically this.
Mm-hmm.
I know the Cavs kind of had to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of making the all-in push, and it makes sense for a team that wants to win right now. And Darius Garland's not available, and when he is available, what does he look like, and all this stuff. And we ran down all this. We loved it for the Clippers. We liked it for both teams, but we loved it for the Clippers because we were like, they were stuck. They had nowhere to go, and now they add in a swing on a guy who's made multiple All-Star games, has proven that he can run an offense. Like, unlike many guys that get traded, there aren't a lot of guys that have been like proven a facsimile of a number one option on offense.
Yeah.
And like playing within a system, elevating other guys around him, and proving that he is one of the best passer shooter combos in the NBA, despite some of the injury issues, despite some of the postseason struggles. Darius Garland was still a very good, like top 40 level player in the NBA. Since he's gone to the Clippers, I mean, I think if this were happening at any time but March, this would be headline news.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Do you remember when the Kings traded Halliburton and we were all like, what the fuck?
What are they doing?
And we were losing our mind. And then Halliburton played out of his mind, and everyone was like, of course the Kings would do this. And then the next season, all we heard about was Halliburton playing out of his mind, and it was headline news, and they go to the finals in the in-season tournament. I think that the Cavs are lucky that this happened during the month of March when the Clippers aren't super relevant, because he's been an absolute baller for the Clippers so far. In the month of March, he averaged 21 points, 6.8 assists on 55, 50, 87 true shooting. Now I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's not going to shoot 50% from three for his whole career. But they were a plus 122. The Clippers were a plus 122 during Darius Garland's minutes. We talked about it on an episode recently. During his minutes, especially with Kawhi, they had a top offense. Like, it was not just like he's putting up numbers for the sake of putting up numbers. So far in his minutes with the Clippers this season, in 400 minutes, they have a plus 14 net rating, a 128 offensive rating, which is insane. And then with Kawhi, when they both play together, which they haven't played a ton of minutes together so far, but in their minutes together, they have 132 offensive rating, and they're a plus 19.5. So, like, once again, I think the 3-point shooting is obviously not going to sustain here, but we are talking about a guy that might be one of the top 5 to 10 offensive engines in the NBA in the regular season. And this is a Clippers team that was just about to basically lose James Harden for nothing. And they got Darius Garland. And these are the kind of moves that can kind of take you from just being in piss and shit to basically just slightly elevating your floor and elevating your ceiling in general. If Garland can ever prove to be a playoff performer in a way that he hasn't in the past. And now I've said it before, like if playoff droppers, if Darius Garland isn't a playoff dropper, they don't exist. Like his numbers crater across the board in the playoffs. He gets targeted a lot on defense. But the difference between the Cavs and the Clippers is that the Clippers are now able to build around Darius Garland's weaknesses. When you were pairing him with Donovan Mitchell, it was harder to do that because they're obviously both going to have some similar strengths and they're also going to have some similar deficiencies. And I do think that this Clippers team moving forward will be having to look towards building around Darius Garland in a way that is covering up some of his defensive warts. And he is able to elevate some talent around him and make them more viable offensively. And the Clippers might be cooking here. Like I think that this was a move that we both really liked, but the combination of that and the Zoo trade potentially getting them someone near the top of this draft, like they might have basically just swung their fortunes in one trade deadline. And we might have even underrated how important this could be for them moving forward. And I would put this squarely in I'm going to say it's Mickey Mouse March only because the efficiency is just insane. Yeah. I mean, 55-50 splits, even for someone who's a good shooter, is absurd over the month of a season. Yeah. But even if those numbers dip, like they're going to be a really good competitive team moving forward if he can stay healthy and they can build a decent team around him. And this was the thing we said at the deadline, like they're going to have to build a certain way around him, but there's a lot of upside here. And I think they absolutely crushed this move by turning Harden into Garland.
Yeah. I mean, again, like you said it, but like we really just stressed it up. This is a team that had like nothing to do. Like you're looking down the barrel of just like letting James Harden walk. You know what I'm saying? And you get like I like the way you put it, a facsimile of a number one option. You know what I'm saying? Because he is kind of like a placeholder. You know what I'm saying? Like he is like for like the regular season, because you are going to need, like you said, with playoff droppers, you know, like if he's not one, they don't exist. Like you are going to need to figure something out for that when you want to like be an offensive team later on down the line. But you do have Kawhi Leonard still in the building for the foreseeable future until you get hit with the death penalty.
I was going to say, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But like it's so funny that the Clippers are like they're like, they went from being like a bad front office to being like a really well run front office outside of like two weaknesses that are like very glaring. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the thing. I think they're really good at what they're good at and really bad at what they're bad at.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, I think. Yeah.
Like they've always low key been pretty good at just making competitive teams, getting guys on the margins.
Yeah.
They don't get crushed in trades post Paul George trade.
Yeah.
That's obviously a massive exception. And
trade away a two-time MVP.
Yeah. The biggest exception ever.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't see Shea becoming a two-time MVP. But the thing that I just wanted to kind of touch on here is the fact that they actually, now I don't know if it's meaningful, but like Niedenhauser looks like an NBA player.
Yeah.
And Kobe Saunders and Jordan Miller look like NBA players. That's progress for them in the drafting department.
Yes.
Because they were the worst drafting team other than the Bucks for the last 6 or 7 years. And for them to kind of figure that stuff out is massively important for them moving forward. And now that they're actually possibly going to have a real important draft pick in this upcoming, this is the question that Will posed. Who would you take if it's just, let's say they get the 5th pick. Let's say the Pacers pick falls to 5 and it's chalk across the board from 1 to 4. It's Boozer, AJ, Darren Peterson, Caleb Wilson. They're all gone. So now you basically almost have to pick a guard. It feels like, maybe there's a trade down if someone really likes.
I mean, that's what I would do. Number one, but if not, I think depending on how they measure out, you'd probably have to take either Mikal Brown or Wagler. Like,
My thought was I would take Wagler just because I think it is tough though, because it is really hard because if Wagler weighs in at the combine at like 180 pounds, then you're like, because like the reason why you can't take Acuff is that him and Garland they're just never going to work together.
No,
and the difference between where they're at in their thing is like, we know that they're not going to win a championship in this West. Can they build a competent team to win a playoff series? I think that's possible. I think it's possible.
Yeah.
They might even be able to build the right team around Darius Garland, cover up some of his weaknesses, and make a conference finals run if everything breaks correctly for them.
Yeah.
The thing that I would like to see is, I agree with you in that regard, because both of those guys are not going to be defensive stalwarts by any means, and that's kind of what you want to build around.
That's ideally what you would want next to Garland, right?
Yeah.
Like, you would want like a big defense first two guard who can take the primary like assignment. You know,
they might just draft Burries. To be honest, they might trade down and draft Burries. Like if the Kings fall to 7 or something, or 6, I don't even know if that's possible. And they're like, we want Acuff, trade with the Kings, move down a spot, draft Burries, and like that. Like I don't think Burries is. I do think that his fit would, especially if he measures with what I think he's going to measure at, because like I think that Mikal Brown is the guy that the two guys that I think have the fakest heights in this draft are Mikal Brown and Kingston Flemings. Like there's no way those guys are 6'4" and 6'5". Like they might, like Mikal Brown might be 6'3", like he might be, maybe if you want to push him, might be 6'4". Kingston Flemings is legitimately like 6'1". I don't know how he got.
I think he's 6'2" at tall.
I don't know how he got that listing in college. So I don't think that you really can draft any of those guys if you're building around Garland. But Burries would be an interesting one. Maybe they just like someone that could rise throughout the process. Like maybe they could trade down a few picks and try to get an extra first, and then draft like Mara or something like that, or draft like, I'm trying to think of someone else that could rise up these boards over the next few months. I think we're going to end up being a little bit higher on like Mara and like Nagba and those guys than I think that the NBA will be in general. And I would imagine that most of the guys that go in this range are Ament is probably someone we'll be a little bit lower on, and he's going to probably go somewhere in this range. But I would imagine I would probably just pick Burries if I had the 5th pick. Like if you just put a gun to my head and said like, take someone, I'm like, that's a guy that I feel like in time will be a good defender in the NBA. I think his rebounding will be additive from day one. His off-ball shooting, secondary creation, like there's my backcourt for the future. I have Garland and Burries, and then I need to figure out the rest. But that's interesting start to me.
Or do you just take one of those guys and just try to flip Garland again? I mean, I guess the problem is that the Cavs couldn't find a home for Garland, but is that a little more appetizing when teams have seen how well he's done for the Clippers, like this little bit, you know, like, do you think that because if I were the Clippers and like, let's say Kawhi is out of there for punishment reasons or something, you have to kind of start from scratch again. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think you're ready to start a build. You know what I'm saying? So I might I think you're still in best player available mode, you know, like, and if you think, I completely agree.
If you think Mikal Brown Jr. doesn't fit with Garland and you think but this is the thing, is like Mikal Brown Jr. is like, what is he? He might be Dame 2.0. And it's like, how close to Garland is Dame though? Like this version, this is real. That's the thing, is like, I know that the thing is that like guys like Acuff and Mikal Brown, like, while I do think that I understand both their positives and their negatives, it feels like really good outcomes for those guys are like Darius Garland level players, like near ceiling level outcomes, I would say.
That's true. Yeah.
And it's like, I already have this guy in house in his prime, and like, he doesn't, you know, we still want to be competitive, even with the Kawhi thing, even with the lack of draft picks, all that. Like there's no way to really sell me on a rebuild when I don't have my picks moving forward, unless I get blown away with an offer for Darius Garland based on this incredible month. It seems very unlikely is all I'll say.
Yeah.
But maybe they just feel stuck and they're like, shit, we got to do something. But it feels unlikely. So I'm going to put him on the back burner for now. Someone that has to be number one first team with a bullet here.
Oh, I was gonna do one. Can I do one real quick?
Do one, yeah.
This is a guy. I can't believe we didn't draft him, dude. RJ Barrett. Have you looked at RJ Barrett's March stats this year?
Yeah, I saw when I looked at the like points per game for this, I saw that he was doing it again because he's such a throwback for Mickey Mouse March because he was kind of the originator of Mickey Mouse March.
Yeah.
He did. There was a year where I want to say it was like 2021 or something, where everyone was like, see, RJ Barrett just needed time and he's going to be a star. And I was like, it's March, let's calm down. But this is what I think RJ Barrett, he's kind of the Steamboat Willie of it all.
Yeah,
you know,
he kind of is.
He predates Mickey Mouse. Like he is he's before even Josh Giddey and Jalen Green became who they became. I don't know what his stats are on the month of March though. Do you have them in front of you?
21, 5, and 2, almost 3. So
Okay.
31 on 31 minutes a game.
Okay.
His first positive plus minus since November. And he is I want to read off his true shooting by month, okay?
Okay.
So there's only like 6 games in October where he had 66 in October. He was on fire in October. Okay. Then November, 57.
By the way, hold on. You had how many games is that? 3?
6.
That's October.
Yeah,
okay,
October is 6. Yeah.
So that's
but it's not very many. Yeah. So six games in October, he had a 66 true shooting. Okay. And then 57, 51, 52, 54. That's all those months. And now in March, he's back up to 64.
Let's go. He gets a nod. He 100%.
He gets a nod. This is what I'm saying. Like it's basically like his stats aren't really that different. It's literally just his efficiency
has skyrocketed.
Like, jumped up. His usage went up, and also his like turnovers went insane.
They went up.
26 turnovers. Yeah. His turnovers went insane. He's like it's 13, 13, 2, 14, 18, 26.
Did you see that post that was like did you see the post that was like RJ Barrett has the stiffness RJ Barrett is so stiff he looks like Zydrunas Ilgauskas when he tries to drive to the basket?
Yeah, it's so funny.
They were like he's been doing the same shit since high school basically. Like he hasn't added anything to his driving game is what they are.
He's like on fire from like 2 though. He's 55% from the field in March.
Yeah, no, and also he's a historical. It's kind of like when we do all NBA at the end of the year, and it's like we're debating on third team, and we're like, just give it to LeBron. Like he's LeBron, you know, like
legacy. Yeah. This is like excellence. You've done this many times. Like if you're on the fence, like it's a tiebreaker for a guy like that.
Yeah.
Like
I'll give RJ Barrett the benefit of the doubt in Mickey Mouse March.
Yeah.
Like he is a legend of March. Yeah. When the stakes are low, no one shows up like RJ Barrett does. Like he is really, truly a Mickey Mouse March riser. And in the I think if we did I think in the offseason, if we do a historical Mickey Mouse March draft, the first 3 picks would be him, Jalen Green, and Giddey. Like those 3 across the board are like the gods of March, basically. So the only time RJ Barrett didn't show up in March was in the Final 4, folks. Well, maybe that was the Elite 8. That was the Elite 8, I think. Speaking of that fucking UConn Duke game the other day, dude.
I hate seeing Hurley happy because he's like a psychopath
dictator.
Yeah. But yeah, man, that's Byron Mullins' kid, right? Like I'm not making that up.
No, you are making that up.
What? Okay, maybe I'm wrong then. I thought Byron Mullins' kid was playing.
Braylon Mullen?
Yeah. Am I making that up?
Fairly certain he is not related to him at all.
Okay, maybe I'm making that up then.
Who hit the guy who hit the half court shot?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. No. His son is in the 2031 class. So
yeah, it was like Braylon Mullins is not related to an NBA player. I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I also it's a very bad time to be a Braylon Mullins skeptic.
Yeah.
But I have been the whole cycle. So I'm like, I don't understand why this guy's getting lottery shouts. And he was like 0 for 4 before he made that 3 too, from 3. Yeah. And I mean, it was an insane shot, an all-time March Madness moment.
You just Trey Burkett. Trey Burke hit a big shot too. Like,
well, it would be, but it's unfair to say that to Trey Burke because Trey Burke was a literal god.
Yeah, I was gonna say Trey Burke
won National Player of the Year.
Yeah,
yeah. And I was gonna say Evan Turner, who is back in the news for being a fucking loser. But I was gonna say Evan Turner. But Evan Turner was the Big Ten Player of the Year that year. The comp for you that you're trying to make here is Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
Jordan Poole had that massive shot in the tournament and then got drafted in the first round off that and then became a multimillionaire, won a championship. What a world we live in. But I think Mullins will, I think unless these mock drafts, which they're always so fake in March, unless they're real, I think he'll probably end up going back to school for another year. Like, the guards are just too good in this class, and he's projected to be a shooting guard. Like I don't really see, I don't see him coming out and going lotto this year. But so far I think the locks for our Mickey Mouse March teams are Bam and RJ. By the way, those are the two locks in my opinion. Okay, so we'll have them as the start of our front court. But yeah. The other thing that came out of
I think Luka's a lock too.
Okay, we'll
he's
put him
scoring like 40 something. Isn't he like almost scoring 40 points?
37 and a half points per game.
Yeah,
in the whole month. Yeah. I mean, it's literally one of the greatest months in the history of the NBA. Yeah. So, the other thing that came out of that Duke UConn game was the insane discourse around Boozer, which. Look, I think that there were times where he showed off a plenty of weaknesses in the St. John's athleticism and UConn's athleticism, specifically from Reed, who just kind of had him in hell as a scorer at times. Definitely exploited some things that I think that he needs to work on. But also I was like, all right, let's calm down. Like M-Grad's comparing him to Tyler Hansborough and Sheldon Williams and all that. And I'm like, this guy is going to be one of the youngest players in the NBA next year. He in conference play shot 46% from three, averages 4 assists per game as like a 4-5. As a freshman, won National Player of the Year. And the weaknesses that he does have in his game should not be denied. Like he will struggle to finish around length and athleticism at the NBA level on the interior. He's also an incredibly good short roll passer already. Like he processes super fast. I think he will hopefully show off a little bit more that he showed off at lower levels in the mid range, where he has a little bit more of a pull up game, a little bit more of a floater game. We've talked about how like they didn't even let Con Knippel shoot pull up twos in college at Duke. Like I think that he will make that part of his game. The only things I'm even remotely worried about with Boozer is his positional stuff on defense in the NBA, how that works, and the interior finishing. Everything else about his game is so well polished. He plays like he's like 29 years old already. Like he plays such a calm, collected game for someone his age.
I feel like his worst case scenario is like a different version of Paolo.
See,
like,
I've heard people say that. I feel like the thing that I do struggle with him is like everyone I compare him to is like almost 7 foot.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, well, and like it's not a 1-to-1 because Paolo's like obviously like a fucking demon through contact, you know, like it's not and he's a big rebounder, you know, like it's not perfect, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just talking about like the idea of like someone who's not athletic and is scoring, you know what I'm saying, and is about that size.
But he has such good touch. Like it's like comparatively to Paolo, like the reason why Paolo has not translated as well as I originally thought he was going to translate is because like he does lack that athleticism, and he has to play a very physical game. And then on top of that, his touch around the basket and his touch from mid-range just is not good enough for him to really justify the amount of touches that he gets as a lead creator. Like, and the thing is that I just feel like it's very obvious that if the floor falls out with Boozer as a primary, there's so many ancillary things he's good at. Like he is good at role player things. So like, even if he is the second best player on a team instead of the first best player, it just makes his floor so high to me. Like Paolo almost needs to be a primary because he doesn't have role player skills. And he will just continue to be a flawed primary creator until he either develops that or changes his game. And we're in year, 4 or 5 of him. And it doesn't seem like he's been super willing to do that so far. And Boozer, like my thing with Boozer is like, I think my worst case scenario for him is like a Şengün Sabonis type, but he can shoot threes. And I'm like, to me, that's like, still like a fringe all NBA player. Like I just think he has the highest floor in the class is my thing.
That's
like
I mean, I think we're in agreement on that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even think like if your bust outcome is something like Paulo, I know that like the semantics of how he's bad is like is different. You know what I'm saying? Even that's like not a bad player. You know what I'm saying? It's not a player you want to give $40 million a year to, like the way that the Magic did, but like, that's a good player, like at some things, you know, like, and as you pointed out, like he's probably not even going to have the Paolo issues because he's probably going to be a more willing role player because he has more adaptability and he's not going to like hijack your offense. The way
right. I was going to say, like, even if he's that's why everyone loves the Kevin Love comps, because it's like, Kevin Love played a bruising back to the basket style in college and had to become a 3-point shooter. Kevin Love everyone always thinks about Kevin Love because of the Cavs years. Kevin Love was a 36% 3-point shooter with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like he was not someone who was gonna shoot.
He was a rebounding demon. He was a double bubble guy.
Like he was a post guy and he could shoot, but he developed that part of his game when he had to, like in terms of volume shooting with the Cavaliers when he was the third option and he was really good at that. And to me, that's like the thing. Like, I think like if everything goes bad for him, he can still have a pathway to becoming like a Kevin Love style player.
Can I say something, a take that I think I'm ready to debut this take.
Okay.
Caleb Wilson might actually have the highest ceiling in the class.
I mean, yes and no, I guess, because to me, it's like, what is Caleb Wilson? If Caleb Wilson is, I mean, like, I just don't think he's going to be Giannis, because like, that's what you need to think if you think that Caleb Wilson has the highest ceiling in the class. I think that
you think they're going to be guys that are Giannis level? I think this is like a really good draft, and I think there's 4 guys who are excellent. But
no,
like,
but I think the theoretical ceiling of AJ is like one of the 4 best players in the NBA, 5 best players in the NBA. Like,
okay.
Now the likelihood that he hits that outcome, I'm not saying it's super high. Yeah. But I think that if you just tell me that all of these guys hit their ceiling, I could see AJ, if everything breaks right for him, winning an MVP.
I kind of feel that way about Darren Peterson too, but the
weirdness of everything.
The weirdness of everything is just he's like 4th on my board because of the weirdness. You know, see, even if I believe in his talent the most.
I kind of don't see that with Peterson in the same way I see with
really
AJ.
Interesting.
And here's why.
Okay. The passing just scares you?
No, I think he'll be a fine passer. Like my thing with Peterson, and once again, I've only watched him in college. I didn't watch him in high school. So maybe it was just a weird outlier year. And even with all of this stuff, that Kansas team fucking sucked. And like but the long and short of it with Peterson, why I just feel a little bit more like, other than Shea, how many guards are winning MVPs on the strength of their scoring?
Yeah.
Every other guard who's won an MVP in the last 20 years.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Is like either a Steph Curry level freakazoid breaks the game level shooter who can also pass and has an entire system built around him. Shea is really the outlier, because like Ant might not win MVPs. And like, that's like the idea of what Peterson could be at his best. But I think Ant's just a way better athlete. And so what I'm trying to get at here is like, maybe he is Michael Jordan and I'm wrong. Like, shit happens. Like there's plenty of stuff. But it's not that I do think that he will get to a level where he is a passable passer and playmaker. I just think the level of scorer and playmaker you have to reach to win an MVP as a guard is so extremely high. It's not to say that it isn't high for every position, but like the idea of like, I think the reason why I the argument I'm just going to make a little bit with AJ, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe like all of his skeptics are right that like he just doesn't have enough that he's bringing to the table other than the scoring to really reach that. But like my thing with AJ is like, I know that he is going to have from day one in the NBA, he's going to be able to get downhill. He's going to be able to draw fouls, which will keep him at like a decent level of efficiency as a scorer as he builds out the rest of his game. And to me, when I just look at traits in a vacuum, like, and once again, I didn't watch Peterson in high school, but everyone tells me in high school, Peterson had these traits that he didn't really get as much time to display at Kansas, which still, by the way, you got to give him credit. He still had the highest BPM of any guard since James Harden. Like, there's a world where this guy just had a weird year and he still was incredibly productive. But the thing with AJ is like the skills and the traits just pop so much more with him to me. Where like, dude, there are plays where I'm just like, my jaw drops at shit that he does. And I feel like the thing that everyone is overthinking is like if you're not AJ is like one of the two best players in this draft or doesn't have potentially the highest ceiling, is like he has moments of just like incredible, almost Shea-like ability to get wherever he wants on the court, combined with already a refined scoring skill set. He can finish around the basket. He can create his own shot. He can draw fouls. I think if he gets there as a pull-up shooter from three, it's like, what's the offensive weakness with this guy? Like maybe he holds the ball a little bit too long, and maybe that needs to get like ironed out, and like maybe he doesn't make the quickest passing reads, but I feel like he's just going to have so much scoring gravity that those reads are just going to be easier for him. Okay. And that's what Shea's gotten to. Like, and that, and like, once again, like the idea with Peterson is like a super Jamal Murray or like a Anthony Edwards potentially, but like, even then, like, is that an MVP level player? I don't know. I just think that AJ might have a higher ceiling. And I think that Boozer has the most underrated ceiling in the class.
I think that totally fair. Yeah.
I think Boozer
I still have Boozer number one on my board. Spoiler alert. Like I don't.
So 2 years ago, we made this case for Edey. And if Edey stayed healthy, did he not have an extremely underrated ceiling? Last year, we made the argument for Khan. And now this year, and Khan has been the best rookie this year. We'll talk about someone a little bit later who's been incredible the last month or two, but Khan's been the best rookie from start to finish. Edey, if he had stayed healthy, looked like he was on a track to become an absolute beast. And I feel like Boozer's that guy this year when you just think about like the production and
skill, outlier skill is fucking, you bet on outlier skill pretty much every time in the NBA.
Touch, size, and feel is just like a really good combo. And he has all of it. So all right, back to the Mickey Mouse March draft. We'll talk about on the Patreon episode later this week. We'll talk a little bit more about the draft. But this guy, I can't believe we haven't said him yet. I'm going to pull up a tweet that I don't think you have seen yet that I wanted to show, which is I'm going to show you this image and tell me who you think this is about.
Okay.
Dan Devine posted this image of Mickey Mouse ears with the Utah Jazz logo on them. On Blue Sky.
Okay. Man, I don't even know who's on their team anymore is kind of the problem. Like,
you know who's on their team.
Is this about our good friend Disgrace Faley?
No, I tried to trick you, and it's not about Ace because I do have Ace written down here. Cody Williams.
Oh, I did see that he's like been playing better for like 2 months now.
Read this. Read it out loud.
Cody Williams has 5 career 20-point games. All of them have been this month. That's awesome, dude.
5 20-point games in his entire career. All of them came during this March.
That's awesome.
That is crazy, dude.
We've often said he's one of the worst players in the NBA. this is like a real next step. I'm a little mad we didn't think of this. I thought he was so bad he didn't have this in him. So
Yeah.
even getting 5 20-point games is pretty impressive.
No, even if it's March and the games don't matter at all, I didn't think that he could get to.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, this shows that he might be a deep bench NBA player, maybe at some point in his career. He's 2 years away from being 2 years away.
I was gonna say his brother being J-Dub is a huge boon. Well, it was a huge boon.
New Thanasis just dropped.
I was gonna say now J-Dub sucks. So J-Dub sucks again. So
sucks badly.
But yeah, so
once again, Chet gets away with it. J-Dub being blamed for.
I mean,
Chet
I think everyone. I'll say this much.
Yep.
I watch every single Thunder game, like the big ones.
Yeah.
I've been kind of locked in on them. I'm not feeling as strongly as I feel about my support of the Thunder being that much better in the playoffs.
Yeah, right. It still feels weird.
I feel like this. I feel like they have Shea.
Yeah.
And I feel like if Shea takes a shot in the fourth quarter, it's going in.
Yeah.
And that is an advantage that not a lot of teams have. Yeah. He was literally, I think they said that he's made all of his shots in the clutch in the last his last 10 shots in the clutch he's made. And he had one that was a game-winning 3 that got waved off at the end of the Pistons regulation. They won in overtime. Mm-hmm. But I was like, this guy just doesn't miss in the clutch. And occasionally you just have guys like Halliburton was that last year, where it was just like at the end of games, Halliburton isn't missing and he's making the right play every single time. And that's what's going to give the advantage. In 2023, it was Jokic in the clutch, where it was just like Jokic will never make the wrong pass. Jamal Murray's going to make the shot. He's going to make the right read. Shea might have that superpower this year that gets them over the top, but I do feel like their weaknesses are still their weaknesses. And their release valves are a little bit better if they can figure out ways to get some of these guys on the court. Like AJ Mitchell is definitively a better bench ball handler than they've ever had during this run. But J-Dub just isn't as good this year. And
that's
like,
true. Yes.
If J-Dub was the guy last year, and like Chet is really all of his value is just kind of tied to his spot up shooting, which comes and goes. And
he kind of needs Hartenstein to be effective out there. Like he kind of needs to be the.
I think I like him better at the 5 in the playoffs is my thing.
I hate that, dude. He's
the best rim protector in the NBA other than Wemby.
He can't fucking rebound, dude. Like it's really tough.
They've kind of just punted on that, and I kind of think that it's, to me, like if you have Shea and that offense, I feel like even if the other team takes 2 shots in a possession, you're probably going to get a better shot. And maybe this proves to fall apart and everything's like whatever, but like my whole thing is like, I think that when they get in trouble is when you play a team like the Celtics and then you have Chet on the perimeter chasing like shooters around. And I'm like, this is not what he's good at on defense. Like you want him near the basket. So it's one of those things where like the fit works very well in the regular season, but there will be a matchup eventually that I think can expose a little bit of that if they are going double big.
I don't like my thing. So because I've obviously been a Thunder skeptic, and then they like won the title last year. I still feel like I was like a little bit vindicated because like they were supposed to like do what the Celtics did 2 years ago, and they like it was rough. You know what I'm saying? For them at like various points, I feel like they're a better team this year. I feel like they have more levers to pull. Like. Having Jared McCain on the bench, Jared McCain is not going to be a good, he's not going to be in the rotation in the playoffs, and he's not going to be like a good player for that. But I think that it's a good thing that they now have. Like if AJ Mitchell doesn't have it on like a given night and you need bench scoring and Shea cramps up or something like that, and you need somebody to keep the offense afloat for like 5 minutes while they're doing that. They have that now with like, there's a bunch of stuff like that where I feel like they're a little bit more of a balanced team and basically the same with their other guys. But as you just said, the J-Dub thing is worrying because that's a kind of a massive part of your team staying afloat is you really needed that creation. And
I think the 2 biggest problems is that, and then also Dort sucks. Like Dort is not good, and you
just bench him though. Like you have Caruso.
But like Mark doesn't bench him. Like everyone just says it's the same thing we always used to argue about with, and obviously a much better version of much better player in Julius Randle. But you used to argue this all the time. I'm like, when they do it, I will agree with you. And his minutes have gone down, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like there are games where he only plays 19, 18 minutes. He's not playing starters minutes every game.
I mean, I think it's one thing when it's like Julius Randle and like, I don't even, it's like Precious Achua, or who was backing him up on those Knicks teams? Like, I don't even remember. Like,
yeah, I mean that was the year that they he got hurt. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But like, you have Kaysen Wallace and Alex Caruso. Like,
Kaysen's been a little bit up and down this year too. I think the biggest difference
been a lot more reliable than he was last year, though. Like, I think he's pretty firmly.
It's been like I saw a stat the other day that he said he was like in the bottom 10. It was very funny because Shamit Dua posted he made like a new stat about like the best shot makers and the worst shot makers in the NBA.
Yeah.
And I looked at the worst shot makers and I was like, this is kind of all of me and Sam's favorite players.
Oh, really? Well, really? Whoa.
I'm going to find the exact tweet because I was laughing as I
Yep.
went through. Because at first I was going to make fun of you and send it to you and be like, these are all your favorite players.
These
and
are
then
your
I was
boys.
like, wait, hold on. There are some of my favorite players.
I got
on
your
here
boy.
as well. Hold on.
I got your boy on bad shot making charges. That was your man. He was missing them shots. You didn't feel bad picking that guy in your drafts?
So the best shot makers this year are Jokic, Shea, Durant, Maxime Reynaud.
Let's go. King's back?
So
King's
we're
back?
going to talk about him a little bit later because I have him on my but that is insane that he's fourth.
That is kind of crazy.
I cannot believe that. So the worst shot makers are hold on. He didn't post the worst shot makers here. Sorry, he's been posting about this a ton recently, and I'm only getting best shot makers right now.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay. Number 1 worst shot maker in the NBA, Mekhi Peavy.
No, not even Peavy. Oh,
next. See, that's why I was going to make fun of you because then it was like Naquan Tomlin, who you've never really talked about, CD Sissoko. Fine. 4th, Carter Bryant.
I believe that though, because that was always his worst skill. Like, but
6th, Bilal Coulibaly, who I'm like, he stinks. I'm sorry. I don't care that he's playing well in March. Yeah, I know he's playing well in March. I do not care.
Yeah.
Or better or whatever. But then I got further down and I was like, oh, Nikola Jovic, Devin Carter, Herb Jones, Vince Williams Jr., Mo Gay.
No, not Mo. This is devastating.
Ron Holland.
Oh,
Jamal Shed.
Those check out.
Kaysen Wallace.
Oh,
yeah. Tari Eason. And then our guy, Cody Williams, who we started this conversation about, and then got completely derailed.
Full circle.
Yeah, full circle. But yeah, there were a lot of our guys on there, so I was a little bit. I was just getting a kick out of the fact that. But we'll see with the fucking Thunder. None of that stuff matters until round 2 anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're going to. Who's the 8 seed?
Honestly,
right now?
it might be round 3 at this point, because if the Lakers the Nuggets.
I was going to say the Nuggets are that's.
I keep forgetting about the Nuggets.
But the Nuggets could also be on the other side of the bracket, and I think
the Nuggets are the 4 seed. I don't think that they're going to be on the other side of the bracket. It's possible, but it looks like they'll be on the same side of the bracket as the Thunder this year.
Third,
the Lakers.
Aren't they? Are the Lakers only up like 2 games, or did something happen?
Google is wrong. They're 2 games up on the Nuggets. So
yeah, I was gonna say 2. I think 2 games is doable. Like
the Lakers seemingly aren't losing anymore, though.
I get that, but like also they got Aaron Gordon back, and he's kind of like they're not really trying hard, but I can see like Aaron Gordon's clearly just kind of like chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like they're clearly
I think the Lakers are going to be the 3 seed.
You're probably right, but
the Spurs are the 2 seed, the Thunder are the 1 seed, Lakers, Nuggets. Then you have Timberwolves, Rockets, Suns, Clippers, Trailblazers, Warriors.
Look, I hope that happens because I would love to. Actually, you know what? But then you also get Luka. I would kind of like to the Thunder Thunder Lakers is a little bit of Stalin Hitler for me. Like I feel like this I could just be like let them fight from the Godzilla movie. Like because
Luka would definitely have a lot to prove in that series. He would definitely show up.
There's also some ghosts there. There's some trauma there. Like, you know, Luka and a bad team, like, and you're the top seed. Like, interesting. Like, wasn't that was the 1-4 matchup, right? Or,
that was the 1-5. I think the Mavericks were the 5 seed that year.
oh wow, yeah.
Same kind of idea though.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cody Williams is in the stats in the month of March. He's averaging 15.5 points.
Yep.
4 rebounds and 3.9 assists. And he's shooting 50% from the field, still only 23% from 3, 77% from the line, 56 true shooting. This was a guy that shot 32% from the field last year. Just to put it in perspective, how far he's come, even in this small sample.
Say he was the worst. Did we give him or Tidjane Saloon the worst player in the NBA? I think
we
said he was worse. Yeah,
I think he was worse. Because Saloon rebounded.
Yeah.
Like I definitively being like, this is not only the worst player in the NBA, this is one of the worst players in the history of the NBA. And he has to go on here for this month. Like, I mean, this is, I never would have imagined he could score. Even if you gave him 25 to 30 shots a game, I don't think I could have ever seen him averaging 20 points in 5 games, or having 5 20-point games over the course of a month. So yeah, I think we got to give him a nod for this one. Next player, we'll do a little speed round. Jalen Green, honestly, the stats aren't good enough.
Yeah,
he had a 5-game stretch where he was really good, but like 22, 4, and 3 for him is just like kind of around what he was doing, even if they were a little bit empty with the Rockets. And he started this year like shit, but he's kind of turned things around in March as we normally expect. He had a stretch and then he kind of laid an egg in this last game of March last night. So I would give him a legacy one here, but I don't know if he deserves it. Speaking of, this guy's another legend of March that just really needs to get his flowers. Quentin Grimes.
Let's go.
You forget about him because,
yeah,
like, obviously I don't forget about him because he can drive me insane a lot of the times on the Sixers. But he started the year so hot. He averaged 10 points per game from December to February. In March, he averaged 17 points per game. 7-point jump in March. Last year was really his like absolute peak magnum opus level of March production. He averaged 25 points a game in March last year. 17, not quite as much, but he was this Sixers team that's been very up and down. He was a plus 61 just in his last 5 games of this month. So, and honestly, like, Grimes is such a frustrating player because the games where he has it going and he's making the right decision, he's making his shots, he's such a tantalizing role player potentially. Yeah. But then the second that everyone comes back, and it's been a little bit different this time because he's been playing much better recently, but he just doesn't really know how to be a role player. And I've talked about the frustrations of this, where he's such a hooper that he kind of needs to touch the ball to get going. And that's why when all of Paul George and Maxey and Embiid were out, he had the opportunity to cook. I think he had over 30 points twice this month. So just I think that he needs to get on just based on almost the legacy of what he's building here in March. He did this with the Knicks and the Sixers. Like, it's not just one team too. So he's someone I think should. So I think first team, Luka, Grimes, Cody Williams, RJ Barrett, Bam.
Yeah. I have a deep bench honorable mention too.
Okay.
You know what Precious Achiuwa's stats are right now?
He's been hooping.
Yeah. Like his another guy who like you just go through like his true shooting and like his shooting numbers and everything like that. They just blossom up in this thing. Here's his points per game throughout the year. 7.3, 6.9, 7.7, 11.2, 15.4.
Yeah, he's averaging 15.4, 9 rebounds, 1.5 assists in the month of March. He is playing starters minutes.
Yeah.
And honestly, the most impressive stat for him in March to me is the fact that he's only a negative 45 playing 14 games for the Kings and starting. Like this team is dog shit. And like, they're like not terrible in his minutes. Now it depends game to game, but like he's definitely, I would say he's a second team guy probably.
Yeah.
This year.
I was gonna say honorable. I just want to honorable mention. I just want to mention him. You know, I'm doing the Zach Lowe. You know, I just want to mention him.
You got to give a shout out to Precious Achua. You know, forgotten in Sacramento. Someone's got to put up points there.
Yeah.
Someone's got to get rebounds.
I look. You know, like he's not going to be a popular pick, but like, you know, I want to talk about this guy. You know, this is a guy.
I would say probably one of the best players named after a novel and movie.
That's so true.
In the NBA. Also, not even the best, by the way, this is a Zach Lowe bit.
Yeah.
If we're ranking the members of the Achua family based on their name, Precious is not even number one.
Oh,
Precious has an older brother named God's Gift.
Fuck yes, dude. Oh, let's go. That's honestly, that's a beast ass name. Can you
God's
imagine
Achua? That's a hell of a name.
Honestly, Achua, great last name. Like, first of all, but like you're starting great, and then their parents were just handing out names like this. The front, my parents fucking dropped the ball, man.
St. John's Legend, God's Gift Achua.
That's so good.
Yeah, it's a great name.
That's great. College has so many good. I didn't think we were ever going to top Admiral Schofield, but
that's such a good name, dude.
That's such a good name,
Admiral Schofield, number 1 pick in the G League draft.
He's awesome.
So speaking of Shea,
yeah,
a player that I think should get second team or at least consideration.
Yeah,
he's having a career year. His cousin, Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Yeah, I looked at him.
22.7 points per game in March, 3.9 assists, 1.7 steals. The only thing with him is he's like a low-key, a terrible rebounder for a wing, but everything else is good. 53% from the field, 46.8% from three, 94% from the line, and a plus minus of 13.4 per game.
This my issue with him as a Mickey Mouse March candidate is I think he's just good.
I do agree he's just good, but this is I never
Yeah.
saw him. I mean, he's 27, dude.
It's true.
It's not
I mean,
like he's like
this whole
24.
year for him has been like he's just had like a really like he's got to be on the short list for most improved player, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, I would say he's probably got to be set in the top 2, if not. Like, who else is there that you could? Because for a while I was like, it's Keontae George, but he just didn't play enough games.
Yeah,
Keontae George played what, like 50 games? Like, I feel like if you're winning an award, they're usually not going to give it to a guy who plays 50 games.
I mean, the traditional one, like if you're going by traditional rules, Wemby gets the usual like,
but that's not ever the award.
I mean, it was with Ja. It was with didn't Maxey win it?
Sure.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
But they were, but Maxey wasn't like Ja was, but Maxey wasn't like a prospect that was like lauded in the same way. Like, he was the 21st pick in the draft. He was a well-known, like he was at one point projected to be a top 10 pick, but like Ja was the second pick in the draft in a 2-player draft. Wemby was seen as like a generational prospect.
Yeah.
It's very rare that those guys win. It's usually the guys that are a little bit of, even Ja's a little bit of a surprise because like Ja was a sophomore. Like, he went 2 years in college. He didn't come out after his freshman year.
Right.
Wemby is like, you should be doing this, but in a vacuum, I think he's the most improved player because he went from like the 6th best player to arguably the best player in the NBA. And that leap is like sizable.
That's what I'm saying. Like, honestly, like I know he didn't move up that many spots, but he is like and I know it's like I mean, I hate it when they give most improved player to like a young, like a 3rd-year player. Like, I hate when they fucking do that. Like, cause it's like, you're supposed to get better. That's what the money's for. Like,
sure. Yeah.
But if that is something that you're going to do, Wemby just did improve the most. Like, he's fucking just incredible. Like, he's like he was a little bit potential man for like 2 years there, you know, like,
I was gonna say, awesome. He went from being like, man, this guy's gonna be so good to like, oh, now he's on track to become maybe the greatest player of all time.
The Spurs can win the title this year.
So I had that, but that was the other part of the Thunder conversation we didn't really get to.
Yeah.
this Spurs team might just be better than any team they faced last year. And and once again, this is a little bit of Mickey Mouse March, but they've been so good for like 3 months now. Really 4 months if you want to extend it back to outside of the Knicks NBA Cup final game.
I was going to say, like, I understand the regular season is different, but they have beat the Thunder, 3 times?
They beat the Thunder. They're the only team to beat the Thunder that many times in like years.
Yes.
Really probably since before they were the 1 seed 2 years ago. And so they're the only team that have beat them that many times in one season. They beat them in the NBA Cup playoffs. They beat them in maybe
it was 4 times because the NBA
I think
Cup
they beat them. I think they were 3-1 if I remember correctly.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if the Spurs were full strength for that other game. So you can never know with these kind of matchups.
To be fair, the Thunder I don't think had Jalen Williams for any of them.
So
if I remember correctly,
they did not. 3 of the top 5 March plus minus players are Spurs. Wemby is 1. Castle is 3.
Yeah.
Do you want to guess who 5 is?
For the Spurs, is it Keldon Johnson?
It's Devin Vassell.
Okay, interesting.
In total plus minus, not like per game. That was total.
I'm
plus
impressed
minus
with him. I kind of always thought of him as kind of an empty stats guy, but that's kind of nice that he's actually contributing.
I feel like he's going to actually be low. He's once again another guy that's just like I talked about it with Jared McCain, where it's like I know he's going to play more minutes and he's more important to the Spurs, but like he's just one of those guys where it's like when it cuts to commercial and it's like the ESPN they're playing like a Kendrick song and it's going to commercial and it's just like the slow motion shot of Vassell making like 4 threes in a row.
Yes,
and it just swings the playoff game. Like there will be a moment like that for Devin Vassell in like the second round of the playoffs when the Spurs offense is struggling a little bit and they're in the mud and he comes off the bench and he's just nailing shots.
Dagnall wants a timeout. This game 3 getting out of hand early. 15 points in the second quarter for Devin Vassell. Like,
be humble. Hold up, bitch.
Yeah.
Hold up. Like that just playing as it's going to commercial.
that. Down with the shit.
So we have. I don't think
that's
play.
like you.
I was gonna say that, but Kendrick's on that song. This is a good cut. He also raps in Spanish on that song. So
I love that. That's one of my favorite songs that's one of my favorite songs. I love that song so much.
It's very weird you just brought that up because I literally was just listening to that album this week. And I haven't listened to that album in like 7 years.
Yeah.
I was mainly listening to Break the Bank, which is my favorite song on that album. But I think that was the lead single off Oxymoron, if I remember correctly. But that album is 12 years old, and it made me feel extremely because that came out after I graduated college and like was like firmly outside of my college years. So I'm like, oh, that album's 12 years old.
Me too,
and I'm like, oh no, because some albums I'm like I think about like Good Kid, Mad City or like the stuff that came out when I was in college, and I'm like, I'm so detached from that period of my life. That like I'm like, oh wait, I was working a full-time job.
I was an adult.
Like Oxymoron came out like when I was working all the time and like I'm doing like a real life thing. Like it is very strange to age.
More than on God, bitch touche on God.
So we have our first team is Luka, Grimes, Cody Williams, RJ Barrett, Bam. Our second team, we're gonna throw Precious on there. I like that addition. He'll be our power forward. So the Nickeil Alexander-Walker, are we saying he's just too good to be on here?
I just feel like he's just been good this year. You know what I'm saying?
He has been, but dude, this is insane what he's doing this
I guess we did put Luka on the first team though. So
23 points, 4 assists on 53, 47, 94 splits.
47's nuts.
He's 27. This is not.
I think we do have to do that also because the Hawks had a Mickey Mouse March run. Like as a team, so
they were incredible.
He kind of personifies. This is like the this is the Kyle Korver addition to our team. Like
he just really embodies what the Mickey Mouse March were. You know.
Yeah.
Shooting 47% from 3 for. I know he's a good 3-point shooter. Like he's like over 40% this year, but like 47 is insane. So we'll include Naw on there. By the way, best free agency signing in years. We don't get many good free agency signings.
It's the best since Brunson, right?
Probably. Like I can't really. There's probably so. Oh no, Hartenstein. Hartenstein was really good.
Hartenstein's really good. Yeah.
So it's like you get one of these every year where it's like a darling analytical role player that gets signed for like to like a decent team and then becomes incredibly important for them. I would say Hartenstein last year. I would say Naw this year. If you have to go back to probably Brunson to get someone that was like clearly much better.
How long has Brunson been on the Knicks? Was that only
5 years?
3 years ago?
No, 2022 he signed.
Okay.
So he played 22. So 22, 23, 23, 24. Yeah, this is his fourth year with the Knicks.
Year, okay.
So he's yeah.
Can I say something too? I know everyone's victory lapping the Knicks because they've had like an up and down march. I'm sorry, that's a sign of a good team.
What do you mean?
Because the Knicks have had kind of like a rough march, and there's a lot of discourse right now about the Knicks being like bad, and it's like, oh, they're falling apart. Being bad in March is a good sign. I'm like for a team. Like I'm sorry. Like
they've won their games though. They haven't lost games. They just
I know
had bad losses.
As I was saying, I'm just reading the dialogue, and there's a lot of people being like, everyone's gonna be licking their chops to face this team. I'm like, I don't want to see. I'm the exact opposite of how I was last year, where I kind of thought they were fraudulent. And a part of that, I mean, obviously they like beat us last year, so I don't have that luxury. But like, I also just think they're like, I just think they're a good, solid like playoff team. I don't want any part of them. They're going to be good. Like, yeah, I think it's going to be them or the Celtics coming out of the East. I really don't think any other team has much of a chance, to be totally honest.
That's more about field than anything else, though. Like I just feel like the West has more teams that I feel like I could see winning the conference.
Thunder. It feels like Thunder, Spurs, one or the other. I think even if like the Nuggets or somebody upsets one of them, I think the other one gets them.
It's probably going to be one of those 4 teams. But then again, like Bill pointed this out on the podcast, and he's like, "You've seen what happened in the NBA this year. You really think the playoffs are going to be normal?" Like we don't have normal playoffs like we used to.
I was just gonna say the Pacers
we always have one team that surprises everyone and makes a run.
Well, so I'm saying you and I were like, we kind of like this Pacers team. We're like,
we're gonna
really overrate them and say that
they're gonna beat the Bucks.
Yeah,
and they might make the conference finals. They're that good. And then
we're like, we're going out on a limb here.
We're like, they're gonna win one series, and like we couldn't get there with them. But like if you had to pick, that's a good question. If you had to pick the surprise finals appearance team, who would it be?
Like genuinely surprising? I think
genuinely like the Pacers, the Heat, the Mavericks, like lower-ish seed makes a run, and it has to be like real. It doesn't have to just outside of the top 3 in the conference.
It's not insane that the Hawks put something together.
Their net rating stuff leads you to believe that it would be. I would be
shocked. I'm
be
going out there on
floored if they made a run.
I'm going out there on a crazy limb. You know what I'm saying? But I just like, I watched them. I mean, they just beat the Celtics the other day, as I'm sure everyone in the Discord will point out.
But they also lost to the Celtics when they were healthy.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But I'm just saying they're like a good, competent team.
Their pathway, I'll say this much. Their pathway right now is a Cavs team that we don't have much information on.
Yeah.
And then a Pistons team that I think I've kind of come around on, like being like, you just got to give this fucking team credit. They're so good no matter who plays. But like they took the Thunder to, I know the Thunder have been a little bit like kind of sleepwalking here, very similar to the Knicks, and they still win their games. But like they took them to overtime without Cade. They've lost like 2 games since Cade got hurt.
Can we do a quick flowers segment? Let's get some fucking flowers for my dog JB Bickerstaff, dude. Like Jen
got it out the mud.
Like I'm like not even like I'm not even doing a bit here. Like I don't know. People just talk crazy on this man's name for like a long time. Like he's a good, competent like NBA coach. Pretty much everywhere he's gone. I know Cavs fans want to like shit on him, but like, I'm sorry. Like he's just kind of made competent teams everywhere he's gone. Like, and I think that's really fucking hard and is usually like a pretty good mark of a pretty good coach. Like, I don't know.
I think his reputation will just be his reputation until they win in the playoffs. Like that's
sure. Yeah.
And I do, to be clear, I do think that like, once again, I've said this before. I think that my prediction, if the Sixers and the Pistons play in the first round, is that everyone's going to pick the Sixers and the Pistons will beat us in 6. Like,
yeah,
like,
that's
it
true,
will be like, because we just did this where everyone talked them. We beat the Hornets in Charlotte, and everyone was like, the Sixers are back, and then we laid an egg against the Heat.
podcast cycle.
Like it is just the most predictable thing that could possibly happen. Even though I do think that we would have a decent chance in that series, like the strengths of the Pistons are like the things that the Sixers have been historically bad at in the playoffs. They're going to kill us on the glass. They're going to get out running, and they're going to try to gas us. Yeah. And that would be, it's not as good of a matchup as people think it is all I'll say. Even if the Sixers would have a puncher's chance in that series. I had Duren be here, and it's not because I think Duren's having a Mickey Mouse March. It's because I think he's performing so well without Cade that I don't think that people have really caught up to like he's good with or without Cade, which because he feels like such a synergistic good fit with Cade that I feel like Cade gets all the credit in that duo, but like Duren this month, where Cade has been out for the majority of this month, is averaging 22 points, 10 rebounds, two assists, and a block a game on 73 true shooting this month. 73 true shooting. Now, look, all of his shots are in the general area of the basket, but like he's
also number one on the fucking scouting report every night now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's been awesome. Asar's been playing well the last few games. Like, they are a team that I think that there are certain things that they're going to struggle with in the playoffs, but I don't think there's going to be a game where they just get blown out because they're just always really good at holding teams kind of at an arm's length because they grind you to a fucking halt in over the course of a game. And by the way, I said this about, I'm just saying, like, I always say my litmus tests for a team when it comes to regular season games is how do you perform against the Miami Heat when Spoelstra's game planning against you? The Pistons struggled against them this year, which is why I was like, I'm a little worried about that. The Sixers the other night, like Spo just had a great game plan for them, and the Sixers kind of shit the bed. And like that to me is like I think if the Pistons and the Heat played a series, for example, the Pistons would win. But I do think that there are matchups where they can play down to their opponents. That scares me a little bit. But I do think that if Cade plays, like they will win a playoff series this year, if not two.
You're going to have to figure out something about your weaknesses when you play a Spoelstra team. Like that's
he's going to poke and prod at them. The Heat fans that are like out on Spoelstra, I'm like, you just really do not know what you have.
You have, that's the you don't want to be out here thread.
It is. Yeah. Have a season coached by an average coach and then be like, oh, this is what average really is. Like, I know teams underperform. No, I shouldn't say underperform their talent. They overperform their talent, but they underperform in terms of win totals in the regular season. But if you're going into a playoff series and you have like a somewhat healthy roster, Spo's going to give you more of a chance than you would have if you had basically any other coach in the NBA.
Yeah.
So, all right. The next guy that I think should be in consideration for second team, Colin Sexton.
I had him on my list. Yeah.
21 points per game on 68 true shooting, 52, 47, 82 splits. And they are losing his minutes, but not by as much. And Sexton's one of those guys. It's the Bulls. And he's one of those guys where like everyone's like, man, let's just get Sexton on a good team. And I'm like, I think Sexton's a big part of why his team suck. Like, I think he's really bad on defense. He is not a passer and playmaker as a guy who needs the ball a lot. And he will have stretches where he scores a lot and like whatever, but like every Colin Sexton team is bad and he is a part of it. Like I think the fact,
I mean,
that is like he is not innocent in it's once again, it's why teams are afraid to draft small guards because when the bottom falls out, he's just bad. Like,
I'm laughing at a YouTube thumbnail. The Justin Herbert, not his fault.
Yeah, and it's Colin
sort
Sexton.
of his fault. Yeah, you're putting your hand up and shaking the thing.
Like he's 100% a part of this. Like, seems like a great guy, works really hard. Like, is a dog.
I have a soft spot for Colin Sexton,
but he's really also like I don't care that he slaps the floor. He's a dog shit defender, and like. And that is just a reality of like, if you want to be like a starter and be on a good team, like you need to do that. Like there might be a role for him somewhere, but he got traded to the Hornets and they were much better when he didn't play. And that's a team where I think you can get away with being bad on defense a little bit. But Sexton's been great this month, and Sexton is fighting at a minimum. To me, this is the difference between someone like Colin Sexton and someone like Cam Thomas is like Sexton. His back is against the wall, and his NBA career might be coming to a halt just because of the direction that the league is moving in, and he's gonna bust his ass to try to stay in the league as much as possible. And he will do whatever the team asks him to do. He might just be physically not able to do certain things. And I think that I think that he's been having a great March. And I think that he's another guy that tends to ball out in low importance circumstances. So I think that he should get a nod here as the point guard, in my opinion, for the second team. So
yep. No, I agree. I had him on my long list as well. So
yep. So we have Colin Sexton, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Precious as our second team so far. The other guys, so Bryce Sensabaugh deserves a shout. Deserves a shout for sure. He's been balling out this month. I know that he's just been good all year, and he's only played really since January. But Ty Jerome is still hooping. Whenever he doesn't play much because he's been injured, and also they're tanking. But when he does play, like he's still like top 10 in EPM. He's been shooting the shit out of the ball this year. He deserves a shout for sure. But I do think he's just like a good player.
What do we think the Grizzlies are going to look like next year?
I think they'll probably be pretty bad again, but not in like a way that it's like egregious.
I was gonna say, do we think they'll be like how the Trailblazers are this year? Like
that's probably a good and if Edie comes back, they might even be actually the Edie Klingon parallel is probably a good one. That's like they'll be like in the play-in mix for sure. But like they also have bet against other teams, like they have Suns and Magic's picks and the whatever they got for Jaren Jackson Jr. So it's not like they don't have other teams that can like lose for them if they want to continue to build through the draft. So I think if you get a healthy Edie season and like they nail their pick in the draft, they could easily make a leap up to like play-in range. But there's gonna be like we'll discuss this later when we get to off-season talk. I think I'm gonna probably be a little bit too high on the Jazz next year. Like
I was just thinking that they don't have a pathway forward, especially if they don't get lucky in the lottery. Like,
see, I'm the opposite. They're in every single game, no matter who fucking plays. And like, this has kind of just been the thing for them all year. Like they're having to bench Kyle Filipowski and Ace Bailey down the stretch of these games so they don't accidentally win too many games. And this has kind of been happening all year. And like, they traded for Jaren Jackson. They're probably going to get Walker Kessler back on a decent contract next year. Like Ace has been much better down the stretch of this season. Like, I just think that they're going to be a very talented team next year that has like 9 guys that I trust in their rotation and a good coach who can get the most out of it. So, the guy I wanted to give another shout before we get to the rookies, my guy Justin Edwards, who was an underrated, underrated part of the Sixers March last year when he balled out. He's averaging only 11 points, but he only plays 20 minutes per game on 53, 44, 71 splits. Quentin Grimes got all the headlines last year for the Mickey Mouse March performance, but Justin Edwards has been hooping again this March when the stakes are very low and teams generally don't give a shit. So shout out to Justin Edwards, who, look, all things considered, I'm fine with having him as a deep bench guy. He's a Philly guy, undrafted, good story. I don't think he's like an NBA rotation player, but when you get to, I want to keep him literally just for March. I'm like, when no one gives a shit, just throw him out there and let him shoot a bunch of threes. Maybe he'll try hard on defense and get some steals. Like, it's not his fault Nick Nurse thinks that he's fucking Jaylen Brown. Like, that's not his fault at all. I said the funniest thing about Nick Nurse to me, and like, once again, the Sixers lost the other night because it was Joel's worst game in months. And the team just did not perform up to the level. Like, VJ was like a negative 33. Like, it was just a bad game. But the thing about that game that was so funny to me that I've observed is that like the Sixers are the only team in the NBA. It's very Doc Rivers coded of Nick Nurse to do this.
He is kind of the new Doc, to be totally honest.
The Hall of Famer, by the way, Doc Rivers. Yeah. Put respect on his name.
Shout out to our guy. He's running, by the way.
He is absolutely running. He's retiring so he can run.
He would beat Pete Buttigieg. The more reason for Doc Rivers to run for office than Pete Buttigieg.
Clears Gavin Newsom. He's
Gavin.
He's fucking mogging Gavin Newsom in the primary. But
you would chop it up with Hassan Piker. I'm just gonna put that out there.
oh my, and Hassan would love that, dude.
Hassan would love that.
If you got Doc in the chair, dude.
Yeah,
come on.
Doc would govern like a conservative, but he would do like the opposite, where he like governs like a conservative, but like and by governs like a conservative, I mean playing golf also all the time, like.
He's down at Mar-a-Lago
doing liberal, doing liberal cool. Like just it goes back, it's basically just like he's a compromise candidate. Like, okay, all the stuff Biden did, but I also golf all the time like Donald Trump did. So it's
culturally liberal and conservative.
Culturally Biden, fiscally Trump.
Also, if Noah, if you're listening to this, please can we make this happen? Can you ask Hassan?
Yes.
Ask Hassan to have Doc on. Go on Hassan Piker's stream, you coward.
Doc, go on Hassan's thing.
All right, so
Doc would do it. He'd be entering the stream, and all his Lincoln Project friends would just be like calling his phone. No,
he said America deserved 9/11.
No!
Cook.
I mean, Doc would absolutely say that, like, you know, I've been in the spots the Taliban have been in a lot. They said that I've joked a lot of the time. It's like Doc would like make it about him. Like he'd be awesome. He'd be an awesome guest. Like we gotta get.
So let's talk about the rookies.
Yeah.
I think we got to get some rookies on here. It's just the spirit. We have two spots left.
Yeah.
We have a few rookies to name off here. Maxine Reynal, by the way, 17.9 points, 8.5 rebounds, 1.8 assists on 59, 44, 79 splits. He's shooting 59, 44.
They're like got a Twin Towers thing going in March right now.
64 true shooting.
Yep.
And he's still a negative 127 during the month of March.
Being on the Kings,
but also like every time you watch, these are the texts that you get when someone that's watching a Kings game.
Yeah.
Dude, Maxime Reynal can kind of hoop. He's kind of good. Wait 1 quarter. This is the worst defender I've ever seen in my entire life. It's kind of like Vucevic without the rebounding coded a little bit. Like Reynal might be a really good, talented offensive player and scorer, but like it's just really hard to be good when you're not an elite rebounder or defender as a big. But he definitely deserves at least a shout, if not a spot on this team right here. Ace Bailey, who we just talked about with the Jazz.
Bailey, yeah.
Almost 20 points per game in March, 19.6 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, 2.4 assists, a steal and a block. And he has 54, 40, 88 splits, 58 true shooting. Not the thing about Ace, he's doing all that with he never gets to the line, which is the thing that it's hard to maintain decent efficiency when you never get to the line. He's upped his 3-point volume. He has games where he shoots like 16 threes. And on top of that, he is like they're not getting destroyed in his minutes, which is a good sign when everyone's out that he can scale up a little bit and they won't get killed in his minutes. Like they're losing his minutes, but not by as much as you would think. And he did have a game where he started the game 0 for 9 the other day. So he'll still occasionally have those games. He's still a rookie, but like he's been good for the month of March.
So are we upgrading him from Disgrace Bailey to Some Space Daily?
We'll have to come up with when he plays.
That's
well,
his mid-level. That's the mid-level.
The mid-level Ace Bailey.
Mid-level is Some Space Daily. Now, on the scale of Disgrace Bailey, Some Space Daily to Ace Bailey, because he's got a great name. Like his name is the non-slander name.
Well, he has a great name, but he also has a better real name. Arius,
oh, that's right. Yeah,
is his real name, which is like one of the greatest names I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say he has the best slander name, Disgrace Bailey.
Yeah.
He has a good basketball name in Ace Bailey, and then he has the greatest Arius Bailey is fire.
We're watching the ramp up, and I think the arrow has solidly gone into Some Space Daily zone. Like he's in.
We'll work on that one. Let's workshop that.
I don't think we need to workshop shit.
All right, yeah. All right. Booze in the chat. By the way, I will discuss this more in the Patreon episode because we're over 2 hours already.
Yep.
I watched the movie Air about Michael Jordan's sneaker, the Matt Damon and Ben Affleck movie.
Yeah.
It was dog shit. I was like,
I knew.
I was actually surprised. I like their movies. Like, I'm not like a movie snob. Like, I like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon movies, even though they're from Boston. Yeah. I was shocked at how cliche and bad. I'll talk about it more on the. If you have Hulu, do you have Hulu?
I do. Or no, I don't. I have Disney Plus.
Okay, well, first off, you're canceled. Disney Plus is owned by Hulu, or Hulu's owned by Disney Plus now, so I have no leg to stand on here either. Yeah. But Hulu, we'll get you a Hulu. I want you to watch this movie so we can talk about it during the off season at some point.
Okay, gotcha.
Because it's one of those movies. I mean, it's about basketball. It's about Michael Jordan fucking, signing with Nike. So it's an interesting concept and a horrible execution. Ace should definitely be in consideration. VJ, 19 points, 5.8 rebounds, 4.3 assists, 45, 36, 89 splits, 55.5 true shooting. The thing about VJ that's been really impressive about him is that he's played well when the starters are back, and he scaled up during the minutes when they were out. He had, for the first time since his first game of the season, he had multiple 30-point games. He's just made a ton of strides this year. By the way, I didn't even realize this because one of the things that I thought that he would really struggle with in the NBA is pull up mid-range shooting. He's shooting almost 50% from mid-range since January. He's been one of the better volume tough shot makers in the NBA so far this year. His pool of players that he's around, when someone posted a graphic of this the other day, contested mid-rangers this year, his group is Desmond Bane, Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, Devin Vassell, Donovan Mitchell, and then Tobias Harris.
Oh, well, okay.
No, Tobias is good at that. That's his best skill. That's not slander on him at all. But I thought that was, and De'Aaron Fox, who's also good at that. So I was like, that group, him being in that as a rookie is a good sign. But I was gonna say it's Ace, VJ, and the last rookie. I don't even know, or I have two more. Dude, are you aware of what Dylan Harper is shooting from the field in March? 58% from the field.
I was gonna guess. Wow, 59, huh?
68.5 true shooting. He's
what do we think about, like, is that all? Because that's too good to be all Wemby tax. You know what I'm saying? Like,
dude, he's number one in the entire NBA on drive field goal percentage since January.
That kind of checks out, though. Like,
but
that's really impressive, but it doesn't surprise me. This is what I'm saying. Like,
all I'm saying is that, we just talked about how hard it is as a guard to reach MVP level status. If this guy develops as a playmaker and can become a pull-up shooter, there's a pathway to an MVP level player.
Yeah, well, the Spurs need that. So
yeah, but his defense is good already.
Yeah.
His short, so he's good at those short little elbow jumpers. He's amazing at getting to the basket. He's very good at finishing already around the basket as a guard finisher. And really the only weakness of his scoring arsenal is the pull-up three-point shooting, and he just doesn't shoot those anymore. So if he ever is a good pull-up shooter, if he's even a De'Aaron Fox level pull-up shooter, there's a pathway for him to become an MVP candidate. This could be Kobe and Shaq.
It's so evil. It's so evil.
We said Jamal Murray, but
dude.
I know, it's insane. I mean, he has been, and once again, he's still only playing 23 minutes a game, and he is in a perfect role for him off the bench. But this is absurd levels of scoring for a rookie as a driver. We talked about De'Aaron Fox, John Wall, all the guys that he was kind of in the same ballpark as, and he's already reaching that, and he obviously was drafted to a perfect situation for that, but there might be more untapped upside with him that is just he has best player in the class potential for sure. There's no doubt in my mind that if you're doing this as a rookie and it's kind of carrying over from college, that if you can refine some of the other skills, there is a potential, if not all NBA player, definitely fucking, all-star at a minimum. But yeah, no, he's been incredible. And then the last rookie is, and I might make a controversial statement that Sam does not like, and I've talked about this player a little bit when we did our rookie redraft, and I didn't take him, but I'm kind of regretting not taking him now. Bro, Will Riley is 6'9".
Yeah.
He's averaging 15 points, 3 rebounds, and 2.6 assists in 16 games, 58 true shooting, 45, 34, 81 splits on almost all self-created shots. And I honestly think that I think he might just be better than Trey Johnson as a prospect. Like, he has the advantages.
Okay. I was like, why are you? I kind of like Will Riley. Why are you? Oh, that's why. Okay. Yeah.
Because I just think that his, like, we've talked about how important it is as a wing. We just saw with Keyshawn George how quickly he made that leap from last year to this year, how much better he was this year, that Washington clearly knows with these ball handling wings what they're doing. And I guess you could make the argument that, like, Bilal has not.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do they?
Yeah, maybe they don't. Yeah. But the other guy that is more of a role player and not a ball handler, and he's older too, but Jameer Watkins has been like awesome defensively this year. So they might just be pretty decent at scouting wings, is all I'm trying to get at here. And I think Will Riley might have some real upside as well. Like, I think he might end up being, like, if he can refine his game, being one of like the 7 or 8 best players in this class.
No need to pit two kings against each other. We can agree Will Riley is good, and that Trey Johnson is obviously second coming of Steph Curry.
So I'm gonna pull this up real quick.
Okay.
In the month of March, Dylan Harper is shooting 61% from 2-point range, 53% from 3, 58.8% from the field, 85.7 from the line. The only thing is he only got to the line 14 times this month. It's
that
really
happens with rookies though.
Yeah, but not to this level when you're this level of driver. He gets to the rim at will and doesn't draw fouls. It's really, like, you never really see that.
That's always kind of an issue with guards though. You know what I'm saying? Like, a little bit. Like, you've got to be strong as shit to, like, be like a free throw. Like, who's the, like, it's Russell Westbrook is like the prototype of, like, get to the line fucking, like, point guards. You know,
John Wall did.
That's also true. Yeah.
John Morant early in his career.
And all of those guys are, like, strong as well.
Athletes.
Yeah. Like, I don't think Dylan Harper was ever going to be like those type of. He's like more of a skill. And he's a great athlete, but, like, those guys are like.
But, like, the comps that he got coming out with, like, Harden and SGA and all those guys and, like, whatever, they reach levels that are, like, kind of unthinkable as free throw guys.
That's true. Yeah.
The last thing I want to say here is, of those 3 guys, it's very funny because I feel this way about Ace, VJ, and Dylan Harper. They're all very good, but none of them get to the line. It's very strange. Flag's the only one of the top 5 that gets to the line. Like, they have the ball a decent amount, like, especially over the last month. They're just not free throw drawers. VJ had, like, 1 game. Ace had, like, 1 game where he got to the line a decent amount, but like, they all have to work. They have to work on their grifting if they want to be, like, efficient multi-level scorers. Is all I'm getting at here. So yeah, I would say if we want to include a rookie here, I say Reynal. Those numbers are just absurd.
Reynal, yeah.
Bring
him on the team with the Kings.
Even though I think he's going to be a good off, I do think this is a little bit like he's better than Filipowski was last year, but Filipowski was this last year.
Yes.
Agreed. And then we have 1 spot left. Do we want to give it to Ace?
Let's give it to Ace. Fuck it. We've called him Disgrace Failey all year. I feel like we owe this.
Let's give him an honor here. I was going to say, because Harper and VJ had played well earlier in the year. Ace really peaked in the last month or 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's give him that. So the first team for this is Luka, Quentin Grimes, Cody Williams, RJ Barrett, and Bam Adebayo. Second team is Colin Sexton, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Ace Bailey, Precious Achua, and Maxime Renaud. That's your all Mickey Mouse teams. Special stuff. We'll be back later this week for the Patreon episode. You can get that on YouTube and Patreon. Also, we'll be rolling out merch very quickly. YKB Awards next week. Playoffs after that. We're going to be streaming for the playoffs and the play-in. Let's get it, baby.
Let's go.
We're back.
We're back. We're fucking back. Let's go. I actually love the playoffs, so I'm really excited for this. So let's go.
You're very unique in that.